I want you to notice the star in the center of the carpet. How many points are up or pointing up? 2. On the facing page, page 43, we find that the blazing star is an emblem of deity. So this star with 2 points up represents the Masonic God. This is the entrance to the Grand Lodge of Indiana. Notice the star on the left. Here's a close-up of that star. This particular version of the star represents the Masonic organization for the female relatives of Masons. The organization is known as the Eastern Star. Notice the 5 letters in the center, F-A-T-A-L, fatal. The Eastern Star is always shown with 2 points up. This is the title page for the ritual book of the Eastern Star. We can look a little further down and we'll see that it was arranged by Robert McCoy and it's published by McCoy Publishing and Masonic Supply Company. It's a 1943 copy. On page 11 they talk about the objects of the rite or the purpose for its existence. It's for inciting the influence of females towards the purposes of the Masonic institution. The emblem of the Eastern Star is a 5-pointed star with 2 points up. And we see these words, I have seen his star in the east and have come to worship him. This is a phrase that's used to identify those members who are entitled to participate in its rituals. Now when you hear a phrase like, I've seen his star in the east and I've come to worship him, the first question that comes to mind is, whose star is it? Well, you might think it's the Star of Bethlehem, but if you'll remember, the wise men came from the east and they were following a star which would have had to appear in the western sky. So it would have been a western star. So clearly the Eastern Star can't be the Star of Bethlehem. We're going to look at multiple Masonic sources to find out whose star it really is. Remember Manly Palmer Hall's obituary? They mentioned that he had written over 50 books, and they lifted up 4 of them. And I told you that we would look at 2 of them. The first one we looked at was The Lost Keys of Freemasonry. The second one we're going to look at is an encyclopedic outline of Masonic, Hermetic, Kabbalistic, and Rosicrucian symbolical philosophy. It also goes by another title, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. This is the hardback version of the book, and it's got the Secret Teachings of All Ages on the spine. This is the paperback version, and it goes by the title, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. This is a large book. It's about 14 or 15 inches high. Here's the title page. We notice that it is written by Manly Palmer Hall. Clearly, this is the book they're referring to in the obituary. This is a portrait of Manly Palmer Hall as he looked in his younger years. This is page CIV of Hall's book. This is the full page. We're going to look in the lower right-hand corner with a close-up. Manly Palmer Hall, Masonry's greatest philosopher, reveals the secret behind the 5-pointed star. When used in black magic, the pentagram is called the sign of the cloven hoof, or the footprint of the devil. The star with 2 points upward is also called the goat of Mendez, because the inverted star is the same shape as the goat's head. When the upper star turns and the upper point falls to the bottom, it signifies the fall of the morning star. Here is a drawing of the goat of Mendez, who is also known as Baphomet. This is found on page CI of Hall's book. This is the back cover of a book written by Aleister Crowley. Notice the symbol to the left of the word Baphomet. That's known as the Siegel of Baphomet. This is the signature of C. Fred Kleinknecht, which is found in the November 1990 issue of the Scottish Rite Journal. Notice that he affixes the Siegel of Baphomet to the left of his name. This is a portrait of Fred Kleinknecht, which is in A Bridge to Light. You notice that he also has the Siegel of Baphomet on his hat piece. Recently in Masonic publications, they've been trying to deny that the Siegel of Baphomet was really the Siegel of Baphomet. What they claim it is the Cross of Salem. But this is a copy of, a Xerox copy of a book that's published by Llewellyn Publications. They're a leading publisher of occult material. And we can see that they refer to this symbol as the Siegel of Baphomet. It's well known in occult literature that this is in fact the Siegel of Baphomet. This book is a history of Freemasonry and concordant orders. It was written just before the turn of the century. Here's the title page. We notice again its history of the ancient and honorable fraternity of free and accepted Masons and concordant orders. And we notice it's written by a board of editors, and a man named William James Hunan is listed second there as the European editor. He's the man that I mentioned you should remember in the West Virginia Monitor. And at the bottom we can see that it's dated 1891. This book also contains information about the secret of the Eastern Star. This is page 101. We read, when the pentagram elevates two of its points, it represents Satan, or the goat of the mysteries, and when it elevates one of its points only, it represents the Savior, goodness, virtue.
Along the border with Ukraine, Russia is conducting what it called military preparedness exercises. The drills involve 150,000 men. Given the Kremlin's particular interest in Crimea, which was historically a Russian peninsula, it has only exacerbated concerns in the West.
Okay, so now we saw the flag of China, and so we're going to note as well that the base color on the American flag is red. Now we're going to go and we're going to note that the base color on the Russian Federation flag is red, and this flag was adopted in 1993. Okay. Here we have some more representations of the flags of the past, hammer and sickle, as well as that star. So now we're back to Baphomet here, the androgynous god of Freemasonry, with the as above, so below. Now, what I want to focus on is this light, the illumination of Baphomet. I'm not going to kid anybody. I was wondering why this star is the way it is, and I think that we've already seen that on the Russian tank. Okay, that is in fact what the focus of this video is all about. It's about that star on that Russian tank, and the reason for the star in the streets of DC, as well as this the order of the Eastern Star, which is the pentagram as well. Now, this is my own opinion that we call the nation her. So that has something to do with this. There's no doubt in my mind. Now notice the White House is here at the base, the fallen base, and the Freemasonic, here we have a representation from their own graphics of the global network. Here we have the worshipful, a man worshipful, much like the Holy Father, blasphemy, abomination of the Catholic Church. Here we have part of that sigil that we noted in the documentary on the secret doctrine. Here we're noting the G in the triangle of their wisdom, strength, and beauty. Okay? Here we're noticing the same thing. Right here is the I. We have Mason spelled out in the star, which is in fact the star of what many know as the Star of David. Okay, so now here we have the building itself, which is 13 blocks up from the White House. Okay, I'm not going to count. I just counted it today to make sure, because I had, in fact, wondered if that were true when I stumbled across that information years ago. Okay, I verified it today. It is in fact 13 blocks. Why 13? Of course, for the M, which is the same M in the Macy's, and you saw the magic of Macy's as well. We are talking about Masonic witchcraft here, being used on a national level, and it is indeed. So now here is that star, and we know this part of it is unfinished. It's my own opinion. It really doesn't matter if it got finished. To me, it doesn't matter. To you, it may matter. I do not know. But this is Baphomet represented in Manly P. Hall's book, with the torch of illumination being the Scottish Rite Supreme Council. Okay, that represents that light right here. So there again, you could say, well, the star on Baphomet's head is upright, so that must mean, like he already said, the star, when it's pointed up, is virtue and all that. So I don't know how much virtue is involved in secrecy and letting people learn these kind of things toward the end of their life, or maybe you could say, well, it's been taught in the educational systems, and if you had not abandoned those, you would already have known this information. Okay, so there again, I don't see what virtue is being shown by letting people make their own way there, when it's supposed to be we're supposed to be a free nation. And what I'm doing here is showing that communism is in fact the order of the day. It's also the beast system of the book of Revelation, and that's all I can really say about that. And whether a person wants to believe the situation that a person will find themselves in if they are in fact guilty of worshiping the beast system and the beast himself when he gets here, that there again, that's a whole nother question that is an individualized individual thing that a person will have to make up their own mind with. So in the course of making this video, I'd already started it, and Mr. McCleary had already put up a video today, I noticed, on masonry. So I am going to comment on that, seeing how it seemed to me that he was mentioning Alan Watts and Manly P. Hall in a positive, favorable manner. And I think that if a person were to go and watch this whole documentary here, they would find out that, in fact, Manly P. Hall is talking about black magic. So I've also heard McCleary laugh about Disney, as well as Walt Disney, and the penises and the, oh, how evil people think it is to have penises hidden in their children's cartoons. I'm not one of those people. It's why? What's the point? Is that supposed to, what does it really mean? What's the symbology behind it? Is it supposed to direct a person to the Washington Monument, the obelisks, and the phallic worship that's mentioned in our Father's Word? I don't really, I don't get the connection there. I don't get the fluffing off of the whole thing either, and thinking that it's admirable. I just don't get that. And so maybe someday I will. I don't really know. A person would have to convince me that, well, number one, I hear McCleary talking about how he believes that he's calling other people communists, and I'm showing people right here the commonality as of the 90s with China, their flag being red, the base of the Russian flag being red, and the base of the flag of the United States of America being red. So there again, I know he's going to talk about the red and the blue and the pillars and blah, blah, blah. So I guess that's my video. We'll see what happens with that. Okay.